The princess was forced to wear a strange wedding dress. It was so tight that she could barely breathe. Today was her wedding day, but a guard secretly slipped a dagger to her. The princess was confused. At the end of the wedding ceremony, the prince lifted her in his arms. As the princess was immersed in the joy of happiness, the prince suddenly threw her off a cliff. Luckily, there were vines that cushioned her fall, and she survived. She screamed in anger and despair, crying for help, but her cries disturbed the giant dragon sleeping at the bottom of the cliff. It turned out that long ago, the king, knowing that the mother dragon could only lay 3 dragon eggs in her lifetime, still ordered the execution of all 3 baby dragons when they hatched. The horrific screams immediately alerted the evil dragon in its cave. At that moment, they realized how powerful the dragon was. The king immediately knelt and begged for mercy, but the giant dragon demanded the king's 3 daughters as payment, and insisted that every heir to the throne must offer 3 daughters before their coronation, as a tribute to the souls of the dead baby dragons. In order to preserve the royal bloodline, they always brought new brides to the dragon's lair under the guise of marriage, then threw them into the abyss. Suddenly, flames surged toward the princess. She ran desperately, finally finding refuge in a cave, but her dress got tangled, and she struggled to break free. Thank God, she only suffered burns on her skin. She used the dagger to cut off strips of her dress to bandage her wounds. After a brief rest, she lit some flammable materials she carried with her for light and ventured into the dark depths of the valley. The princess soon discovered melting ice columns. She tilted her head back and drank from them. Just as she closed her eyes, the ice columns melted faster, and a red light appeared. When she opened her eyes again, the ice columns had turned into raging flames. The princess quickly retreated back to the cave and narrowly avoided the dragon's attack. By sheer luck, she found an exit to the outside world. However, the crystals on the walls were so sharp that a single mistake could be fatal. But to survive, she had to climb. At that moment, she noticed a crown left by the queen. It was likely equipment left behind by the queen, who had escaped earlier. The princess immediately tore her long dress into strips to bind her limbs and resolutely began to climb. Just as she thought she was about to escape, she suddenly heard the roar of the giant dragon from below. She was startled. Luckily, she managed to hook the crown onto a crystal, but the fragile crystal couldn't bear her weight and shattered instantly. The dragon opened its blood-red mouth, waiting for its prey to fall. In a moment of crisis, the princess once again used the crown to hook onto a crystal. At this moment, an incredible strength erupted within her, and she frantically climbed upwards, finally reaching the exit.